What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love. This is season 8, episode 4, and let's go ahead and get right into this episode, y'all. So, first things first, of course, we gotta meet up at the lounge. And you already know, the ladies have the control this week. I'm like, alright, cool. So, Tommy invites them to a hoedown, right? I'm like, of course, they would throw a hoedown because they're in Texas. So on the nose. Okay, so before we even get to the hoedown, y'all, we see Sierra and Marie, they go on a date. Now, according to Sierra, not Sierra. According to Marie, he feels like he's the most comfortable with Sierra. And I'm like, well, didn't you just say that to Jessica the last time we talked to you? Okay, sir. Work the room like all the rest of the guys do. So she gives off this, like, around the way homegirl vibe. Like, she can vibe with all the guys or whatever. But the difference with her is that they're attracted to her. Because I feel like any other time, y'all, we have been watching this show for how many seasons now? Whenever they use that word homie, homegirl, a friend, that usually is the next woman to go home. Because they can't stand a woman that can be their friend on Ready to Love. They can't stand a woman who they can just kick it with and chill with. Nope. For some reason, they always send them home. But luckily for Sierra, these men are attracted to her, so they want to keep her around. So they seem to have, good chemistry, and they hit it off well. Good for them. Now, we get to this next date. It was Red and Lee. This was probably one of the most awkward dates I have ever watched on Ready to Love. Like, this man was going on and on about his life. How he worked a corporate job. How he did this and that. He was only DJing on the weekends. And all this unnecessary information. Didn't ask her about herself. I'm like, what are we watching here? Paint dry? They are not a match. Let's go ahead and move on, because that was the driest conversation that I have seen in a while. So we got to get to the hoedown. Now, everybody is in their cowboy best outfits, okay? Now, Chris, he does tell Tommy that he has to leave early because he's like, I'm getting an award at my job. I got to be there to receive it. I'm like, all right, cool. This man is making achievements at his job. Y'all better go pick that man up, okay? So, people are mingling or whatever. We see Janelle and Quentin, and they're all flirting and booed up. We also see Unique. She talked to Christopher again. And this time, he seems to be a bit more open towards her. Because last time, he was basically kind of put off by her because she was telling him how she's not tolerating men who want to play games, basically. And I'm just like, how was that a red flag for you? Because she's not trying to play games with nobody. Sir, get it together. So the next person we have having a conversation, y'all, is Janelle and Herbert. Baby, they real flirty, okay? Talking about going skinny dipping together. And next thing you know, Quentin walks up. And he's like, oh, y'all too close to each other or whatever. Because, he's really interested in Janelle. Now, honestly, I did not expect for Janelle's top 2 guys to be Quentin and Herbert. I don't know who I would have pictured her with, but I just did not see her going for those 2 guys. I don't know. Nonetheless, we got to have this conversation with Red, y'all. Red, I need for you to stop. Because this man goes over to talk to Unique yet again about this thought job thing. Sir, why are you even bothering to have a conversation with her? She's not interested in you. Please move forward with somebody else, anybody else. Like, these 2 literally started to argue. And all of this was unnecessary. I'm just like, Red, why are you in your feelings that bad that Unique don't want you? Like, that's really what it is. Unique is not impressed by you being a comedian local to Dallas. She's not impressed with you being a DJ. She's not impressed with whatever you got going on, okay? And one thing that stood out to me was the fact that she was like, oh no, I'm sorry, Red, he started going off about how his name is so good, around the city because everybody knows him. He's worked with this company, that company, I guess their sports teams, all these people. And she's like, yeah, but your name ain't good in these streets. I said, well, there we go. I feel like Unique definitely came in having some tea on Red. Her throwing out that thought job thing, that was her like trigger warning for him to be like, I might have to pull your card. And that should have been his notice to be like, all right, I ain't messing with the Unique. I'm going to go find somebody else. But no, his dumbass decided, I'm going to go ahead and every time I see Unique, I'm going to bother her about why she called my job a thought job. Sir, move on. There's 8 more ladies to get to know? Go find them. Go chase them down. Because Unique ain't your girl, okay? She's just not. So now we see Aries. Now she's talking to Phil, and they're, talking or whatever. And this is probably the most I have ever seen Phil with like a smile on his face. Like, I've never seen Phil look lively. Like, Phil, I'm sorry, Phil is such a dry, drab personality. I'm sorry, he is. Nothing about Phil is interesting to me. But let's move on to Marvin. We see Marvin and Kiera talk about him wanting to stay in the Caribbean because that's what he mentioned to her on the last episode, that he was like, yeah, I can see myself moving to the Virgin Islands and just having like the island life thing going for myself, raise kids out there, all of that, right? So Kiera is questioning him on if this is like a plan that is set in stone for him to move to the, the islands. And he's like, well, I made those plans for myself when I was a single person. So, if I'm actually going to date somebody, then I would definitely have to take them, and their opinions into consideration. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine. So, he did mention that he could even see himself having a family in Texas. Now, according to Kiera, though, she feels like he's just saying, anything to keep her interested in him. And I'm just like, well, I can see that as well. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that people definitely can change their minds, but I do see where she's coming from. So next we see Herbert and Kat. They're having a conversation, and I'm just like, Kat, don't even rock with Herbert. No offense to Herbert, but I just feel like he's older than her, like by some years. So it's some younger fellas that she could probably talk to. Chris and Jessica, they went around to, make sure everybody remembered who Chris was, because remember I told you that he was going to leave early. Now, I like this. I like the fact that she took him around, even though she's interested in him, but she also made sure that the other ladies remembered that he was attractive, he was around, and don't be trying to send him home because he got to go get his award, okay? I'm like, all right, this is cool. So, next thing you know, Tommy comes back. He brings in some line dancers, and they teach the group some dance moves or whatever. And, of course, some people can dance and some people cannot. So, later we see Janelle. She's talking to Quentin. And it's clear that her leading two interests are Herbert and Quentin, right? But I'm just like, I feel like Quentin is a little too young for her. I think he's like 33 years old and she's like 43. I think her match may be Herbert on this ride of Ready to Love. So, I've been dreading talking about this one. We have Marvin. He's talking to Lee. And she's asking him questions, just to get to know him a little deeper, getting him to open up more. Baby, once he mentioned that he had an ass worshiping fetish, I was done with the conversation. I'm like, this man is going on and on about what he's into, the things that he likes. This too much. Like, I just feel like he has made that his entire lifestyle and personality. And he has nothing else going on for himself besides the whole erotica S&M stuff. Marvin can go. Him and Red. So, speaking of that, it's time to send somebody home. Like, for me, I feel like the ladies are not feeling Red, and we all know they're not feeling Marvin. Now, who needs to go home? Both of them. Because the girls cannot get into, the sexual needs and wants of Marvin. And Red, he's rubbed a few of the ladies the wrong way, especially Unique. Some of them don't even find him attractive, and he's boring. So, what's crazy to me is that as the ladies were going on about who they weren't feeling, Janelle tried to throw Christopher in there. But I'm just like, her reasoning was kind of stupid because she basically wanted to throw him in the mix of like guys she wasn't feeling because she felt like their conversations were all surface level. And I'm just like, okay, that's not the guy, for you. That doesn't mean that he needs to go home. Like, Red and Marvin for sure need to hit the dough. So, unfortunately, we decided, or should I say we, Ready to Love decided that they weren't going to tell us who went home this episode. We have to wait till the top of next episode. Just our luck, right? Y'all, let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Who y'all think going home? Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to our channel, and I will talk to y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.